Welcome to episode 401, where I'll be exploring how summer, a season of heat, light, and intensity, can support sadhana, your conscious spiritual practice. We'll talk about tapas, tejas, and how to align with this fiery season without burning out. Let's turn up the clarity and creativity and not the stress. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. Before I start today's episode, I have an announcement. This August marks 8 years since I launched the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. What started as a humble offering to share the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda has grown into a global community. And it's all thanks to you. And to express my heartfelt appreciation, I'm offering 10% off of all my online services until August 6th, 2025. You can choose from online consultations, the private Digestive Reset Cleanse, the educational self-paced Daily Habits for Holistic Health program, and my Reset, Restore, Renew program, which combines all my services in one holistic package. Use the code ELEMENTS8 at checkout. That's ELEMENTS, ELEMENTS and the number 8 at checkout. And this offer is valid until August 6th, 2025. And thank you so much for listening, for supporting and sharing the podcast with your family and friends. I am so truly grateful for the past 8 years and excited for what's ahead. So please take advantage of this 10% offering, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. And now let's get into this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. In this episode, I want to share something that's been stirring in me this summer, something I think many of us intuitively feel, but rarely give ourselves permission to honor. We all know that summer in Ayurveda is the season of the Pitta dosha, a time of heat, intensity, and transformation. The light is abundant, the days are long, and those hot temperatures can drain our energy as our body is working overtime to keep us cool. This means that even though Pitta energy is high, our productivity may be low due to fatigue from heat. Personally, I've had summers where I've tried to force myself to continue working and pushing through the fatigue, and inevitably, something in me starts to fray. I just don't have the same energy as that of springtime. But here's what I've observed, both in my own rhythms and in the cycles of nature. Summer isn't actually a time for relentless productivity. It's a time of clarity, for refinement, for tending the inner fire, but not constantly feeding it. I think we really need to recognize summer for what it is, a time for sadhana. And sadhana is a Sanskrit word that means conscious spiritual practice, or a means to attain something. In the yogic and Ayurvedic traditions, it refers to any intentional, disciplined effort we make to align with our higher self, whether that's through meditation, mantra, prayer, mindful movement, self-inquiry, or acts of devotion. Sadhana isn't about achieving perfection or performing rituals. It's about creating space each day for something sacred. In this episode, I want to explore how the energy of summer naturally supports this inner work and how to tailor your sadhana to stay steady, cool, and clear during this Pitta season. There's this illusion in the entrepreneurial world, and I would say in our hustle culture in general, that summer should be full of output, launching new offerings, building momentum, keeping up with the pace we set in spring. But energetically, this often leads to burnout. The heat outside mirrors the heat inside. And if we don't create space to cool, to listen, to step back, that fire turns on us, and it can become irritation, overwhelm, stress, and even burnout. In Ayurveda, summer is the time when the fire of tapas, the inner discipline, can be harnessed, not for more doing, but for becoming more focused, more refined, more aligned with what we'll truly bring forward in autumn. Because autumn is the harvest, not summer. Summer is when things are ripening quietly under the surface, and our job is to tend, not to pull or force. So in this episode, we'll explore summer as a time of sadhana, conscious practice, and how we can harness our inner fire, our tapas, and creative light, Tejas, to align more deeply with purpose, how to shift from burnout to brilliance, and how summer can be a powerful time if we approach it with intention and respect for the season's true rhythm. Let's take a few minutes to explore tapas, a word that's often used in yogic circles, but it is so deeply relevant to both summer and the Ayurvedic path of intentional living. In the yogic tradition, tapas literally means to heat or to burn. But we're not just talking about physical heat. We're talking about the inner fire that arises from disciplined, conscious effort. Tapas is the spark of willpower, commitment, and devotion that fuels spiritual growth and personal refinement. In Ayurveda, we link tapas closely with Pitta dosha, which governs transformation. Think about what Pitta does in the body. It digests food, metabolizes thoughts, sharpens vision, and fuels ambition. It's the fire that helps us see clearly, act decisively, and transform effectively. So it's no coincidence that tapas is associated with summer, the season of heightened pitta. The season is hot, bright, intense, and our internal landscape often mirrors that. If we align with this energy wisely, it's a powerful time to recommit to our practices. Summer gives us the natural capacity for discipline and clarity if we use it skillfully. This is a beautiful time to deepen your sadhana, your spiritual practice, because you already have more fire in your system. You don't have to summon it, it's here. The challenge is to direct it, to harness that fire in a way that purifies rather than depletes. Because here is the shadow side. Unchanneled pitta becomes destructive. That same fire, when misdirected or left unchecked, leads to irritation, criticism, competitiveness, burnout, and even ego-driven striving. We start confusing productivity with purpose. Effort becomes strain. Focus turns into tunnel vision and rigidity. Passion mutates into perfectionism. And this is where the deeper meaning of tapas comes in. Tapas is not just raw effort. It's not push hard or do more or crush your goals. Tapas is intentional heat. It's fire offered devotionally. When you light the fire of tapas from a place of sankalpa, which is heartfelt intention, it becomes a sacred discipline. You show up not to prove something, but to purify something, to burn away distraction, to burn away what no longer serves you, to clarify the inner self. Tapas isn't about effort for effort's sake. It's about holding the fire of transformation in a conscious way, a way that supports your growth without scorching your spirit. So in this summer season, ask yourself, where is my fire being wasted or scattered? And where could it be lovingly tended? So let's explore how summer is an ideal time for sadhana, this conscious spiritual practice. Whether you're deep into your spiritual path or just beginning to bring more intention into your days, summer offers natural support for growth, purification, and inner alignment. In Ayurveda and yoga, we don't separate the external season from our internal state. Just as summer is bright, fiery, and expansive, our inner fire, our Agni, is also heightened during this time. Pitta dosha dominates, bringing the qualities of sharpness, clarity, intensity, and focus. And we have to be careful that this doesn't lead to imbalance, particularly for those with a high Pitta constitution or a Pitta aggravation. And this is why sadhana is really ideal during the summer season, because sadhana will help to calm the fire and make sure it doesn't burn out of control. So let's look at some simple sadhana practices. It could be something like early rising. One of the most powerful ways to align with the rhythm of summer is to wake early, ideally before sunrise. And it's easier to get up early during summer because the sun is rising earlier. And this is what Ayurveda calls Brahma Muhurta, the sacred window, roughly an hour and a half before dawn. The early morning light in summer is soft, golden, and sattvic. It invites stillness and clarity. If you've ever woken naturally before 6 a.m. in summer, you know the feeling. It's easier to rise and the mind feels more clear. This makes it an excellent time for a morning walk in nature, meditation, pranayama, mantra chanting, or sitting in quiet reflection. Another simple practice is clarity and motivation. Summer's Pitta energy enhances determination and discipline. It's easier to commit to a routine, follow through with your intentions, and stay focused if you don't overheat or scatter your energy. That makes summer ideal for establishing or refining a spiritual routine. Even if your days are full, try to carve out just 10 to 20 minutes each morning or evening for your chosen practice. Or if you could bookend the day with 2 short mindfulness routines, that would be really wonderful. Think of it not as a performance, but as a quiet anchor, something to help you digest your daily experiences and connect to your true self. This season also brings a kind of mental clarity as the heaviness of the kapha season of spring has lifted, and the rise of the Pitta energy in the environment supports reflection, goal setting, and insight. Many people find they have a clearer sense of what's important to them in summer, and that insight can fuel meaningful transformation, especially when paired with regular introspection. Another simple practice is mindful cooking and eating. The increase in Pitta dosha of summertime will increase our Agni, our digestive fire. However, the hotter the sun shines, the weaker our Agni becomes. This is because the blood, which is normally concentrated around the digestive organs, is directed more towards the outer layers of the body during the very hot weather in order to release heat via the dilated blood vessels. So this makes summer a great time to experiment with lighter eating, as long as your constitution and your lifestyle supports it. As always, it's important to get tailored advice from an Ayurvedic professional. But in general, a simple sadhana practice could be, as I said, mindful cooking, taking some quiet time in the kitchen, cooking some simple meals with seasonal vegetables, maybe lightly steamed greens, mildly spiced, no pungent spices, and fresh herbs are ideal. Think seasonal hydrating fruits for snacks or a rose and mint infused herbal tea. When we eat lightly, we don't overburden our Agni, and we often feel lighter mentally and emotionally too. This lightness supports the introspective quality of sadhana. You're not weighed down physically, and that frees up space for reflection and meditation. And sitting and eating mindfully without distraction can be a sadhana practice in itself, and so helpful for your digestive fire too. Purification practices, both physical and mental. Pitta season is associated with purification and refinement, not just of the body, but of the mind and the subtle energies. This makes it a beautiful time to engage in regular mental and emotional cleansing practices like journaling, to reflect honestly and digest your experiences. Pranayama, especially cooling and calming breathing practices like Shatali or Nadi Shodhana. Check out episode 396, where I guide you through a practice of each the Shitali cooling breath, which is great for the Pitta dosha, and Nadi Shodhana, or the alternate nostril breathing, which is great for all doshas, but particularly the Vata dosha. Another purification practice is Satya, or truthfulness. committing to live and speak more honestly, and letting go of perfectionism or ego-driven goals that might be simmering beneath your summer intentions. And here are some simple daily or weekly sadhana ideas, like the daily sunrise meditation or breath practice, daily dinacharya, self-care practices performed with intention, maybe one day a week of silence or digital minimalism, practicing moon salutation in the evening to balance the heat, practicing abhyanga, the oil massage, or padabhyanga, foot massage with cooling oil like coconut infused with rose or lavender, an intentional walk in nature without phone or distractions, just observing and receiving, or observing silence for a few hours a week can be a powerful part of summer sadhana. And it's best to start small. Let your sadhana be gentle but consistent. Summer invites you to sweat a little, yes, but not in a way that's going to scorch you, in a way that purifies and refines. Summer gives you natural access to clarity, commitment, and transformation, but use that energy wisely. Let your practice be steady and cooling, not performative or extreme. And let it bring you closer to your truth. Not just what you're achieving, but who you're becoming. Let's turn now to a more subtle and radiant expression of fire in Ayurveda, which is something called Tejas. If you've studied Ayurveda, you may know that everything in nature has both a gross or tangible and a subtle or energetic expression. Fire's gross form is heat, digestion, transformation, the kind of fire we associate with the Pitta dosha. But its subtle essence is known as Tejas. Tejas is our inner radiance, our luster, fearlessness, intelligence, and understanding. It's Tejas that gives us the courage and vision to carry out courageous actions. On a deeper level, Tejas governs the unfoldment of higher perceptual abilities. Tejas is the inner brilliance of the mind and soul. It's the radiance behind your eyes when you're inspired. It's the sharpness of discernment, the aha moment of insight. It's what allows you to take the disciplined fire of tapas, your sadhana, your structure, and let it burn away illusion, revealing something luminous underneath. Tejas is the light of truth, of perception. It's not just about willpower discipline. It's about seeing clearly, acting from wisdom, living with a sense of purpose that's guided not by ego, but by the light of awareness. If tapas is the heat of practice, the inner fire of effort, then Tejas is the light that's released when that practice is sincere and well-directed. It's the difference between striving and glowing. This is important because Pitta season naturally enhances tapas. We're more driven, more focused, more capable of pushing through. But without cultivating Tejas, that heat can become brittle. We can become irritable, reactive, ego-driven, and we can mistake force for clarity. Tejas brings balance. It turns fire into light, not just heat. It helps us use our discernment to act wisely, not impulsively. Summer is full of natural Tejas energy, long days, bright skies, golden light. This season supports illumination, insight, and creative expression. But, and this is crucial, Tejas is delicate. It's subtle. It doesn't respond well to excess. We protect Tejas by avoiding depletion of overworking, even if we feel productive, overheating, too much sun, too much intensity, or even spicy food, and undersleeping, sacrificing rest for more doing. When we burn too hot or too long, we scorch Tejas. The flame flickers or goes out, and we're left with dullness, cynicism, or confusion. Have you ever had that moment where you were so busy or overextended that you could not think clearly, even though you were doing all the right things? Now that's a sign your Tejas needs tending. On the other hand, we cultivate Tejas through stillness and silence, meditation, pranayama, and immersion in beauty, spending time in nature, appreciating art, or allowing time for creativity. Beauty feeds Tejas, so does devotion, so does simplicity. Tejas is the key to spirit-led creativity, not from ego, but from the soul. Here's an image that I return to often. You might find it helpful too. So Tejas is like a candle flame in the wind. It's not the bonfire of tapas roaring and intense. It's the small, steady flame that lights your way through the dark. But it must be protected by your awareness, your lifestyle, your boundaries. If you place a candle in a drafty room, it flickers wildly or goes out. But if you shield it, if you give it space and stillness, it burns steadily. It gives light. It becomes a source of insight, not just heat. In the same way, your inner clarity needs protection, not through withdrawal, but through wise choices, how you spend your energy, how you rest, and how you make space for the sacred. In summer, you may feel a strong surge of purpose or creativity rising in you, and that's beautiful, and it's also sacred. But don't rush it. Don't burn it out. Let it simmer. Let your Tejas guide you towards action that is inspired, not impulsive. This is the season to listen deeply, act wisely, and protect your inner flame, not for performance, but for illumination. So we've explored tapas, the sacred inner fire of discipline and transformation. We've explored Tejas, the refined light of insight, discernment, and brilliance. But what happens when these two forces come together? When effort is infused with wisdom and clarity is grounded in commitment, what we receive is something rare and powerful. Dharmic clarity. In Sanskrit, dharma can mean many things. Truth, purpose, the path that upholds the natural order, or our own soul-aligned work in this lifetime. Dharmic clarity is that luminous moment when your inner and outer worlds align, when you can see with unmistakable conviction what you are here to do and how to walk toward it. It's not just about ambition or achievement. It's not goal setting in the modern sense. It's soul knowing. And it comes when tapas, the fire of doing, is balanced by Tejas, the light of knowing. Summer offers us the perfect terrain for this inner work. The external fire mirrors the internal. Think about it. When we're in the peak of summer heat, there's a natural instinct to strip down, to remove the non-essentials, seek shade, move slower, be more intentional. This instinct isn't just physical, it's also spiritual. This is the season for cutting through distractions, illuminating what matters, and letting go of what no longer serves. You may find that old habits feel heavier now, that certain relationships, routines, or thought patterns are coming up for review, that your usual productivity mode feels forced or even draining. That's the wisdom of the fire asking you to refine, to realign, to stop running, and to pause and start listening. This is a beautiful time to ask, what is trying to come through me this season? Notice it's not saying, what do I want to make happen? But what is already stirring within, waiting for your attention. It could be a creative idea, a healing process, a new offering, a shift in how you serve or how you live. Dharmic clarity doesn't come through forcing. It comes through burning away the excess so the essential can be seen. Now, to support this inner inquiry, here are two simple tools. The first one being a journal prompt. What sadhana would serve the next evolution of my soul's work? Explore not just practices you enjoy, but those that challenge you to grow, refine, and show up more fully in your dharma. And the second tool being a mantra saying, may the fire within me illuminate, not consume. This is a mantra to cultivate clarity without burnout, to keep the fire sacred, to act from devotion and not pressure. Let this be a reminder, summer is not a season of endless output. It is a time of refinement, preparation, and soul tending. Summer supports sacred discipline of tapas, creative insight of Tejas, and the clarity of purpose. So what practice, however small, will you commit to as your summer sadhana? This is the time to listen to what is forming, to commit to practices that nourish that growth, and to trust that clarity will arise not from striving, but from slowing down and inner alignment. If you want support on your journey and an approach tailored to you, then check out my online services. I offer online consultations, which are focused on healing, education, and empowerment. I have my Digestive Reset Cleanse. The next discounted group cleanse starts October 3rd, so we can eliminate this excess accumulated heat out of the body before we go into autumn. Of course, you can do a private cleanse at any time. Both come with a 90-minute online consult with me so that I can tailor the recipes, the mindfulness, the self-care to you and your lifestyle. And of course, I support you throughout the process. I also have my Daily Habits for Holistic Health program. This is an ideal program if you like to study by yourself. It's a 28-day self-paced program with the objective to help you live in tune with the circadian rhythm and educates you on how to become your own healer. And I combine all my online services in my Reset, Restore, Renew program. Now, I do have a comparison chart on my website so you can see what you get in each service and decide what is best for you. And if you have any questions, then just take advantage of my free 15-minute online services inquiry call. We can hop online and I can answer all of your questions. So I hope you enjoy this episode on summer as a time of sadhana and harnessing the fire for clarity and creativity rather than stress and burnout. And if you think this episode will be helpful to family or friends, please share it with them so we can spread this wisdom of Ayurveda and yoga. If you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so, and the new weekly episodes will automatically download for you. And please come join me on social media. My new Instagram page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast, and on Facebook, it's Elements Healing and Wellbeing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.